I never meant for the words to leave my mouth. They slipped out in the quiet the way truths sometimes do, unarmored, unprepared, spoken before reason could raise its shield. A whisper, barely louder than breath, meant for no one but myself. I want to have a child with you. The stars outside the viewport continued their slow drift. The great ring of the Aurelian embassy glowed softly, bathed in pale blue light. For one fragile heartbeat, I thought I was alone with my thoughts. Then the room went very still. Too still. Princess Serelith of the Varelian Star Crown stopped walking. She turned. Slowly. Every instinct in my body screamed that I had just crossed a line no human had ever crossed and survived. Serelith was not only alien, she was royalty, heir to one of the oldest civilizations in known space. The Varelians were beings of light-infused biology, long-lived, elegant, and bound by traditions older than Earth's continents. And I had just whispered something that, in many cultures, would be considered a sacred vow or a crime. Her eyes, liquid silver threaded with starlight, locked onto mine. "What?" she said calmly. "Did you just say, human?" My heart pounded so hard I thought she might hear it. Your Highness, I stopped, forcing myself to breathe. Lying felt worse than whatever punishment honesty might bring. I spoke without thinking. "I'm sorry." She didn't look angry. That terrified me more. "Humans," she said, taking a step closer, "often speak impulsively. I have learned this." Her head tilted slightly. But that sentence was not impulsive. It was specific. I swallowed. Yes. Intentional. Yes. Serelith studied me the way a scientist studies an anomaly, not coldly, but intensely, as if I were a puzzle she genuinely wanted to understand. "Explain," she said. I exhaled slowly. On Earth, we don't say something like that lightly. It doesn't just mean reproduction. It means trust. A future. Belief that someone is worth building something permanent with. Her expression shifted, subtle, but unmistakable. "You wish to build," she said, "with me." I nodded. I know how impossible that sounds. We had met a year earlier when I was assigned as a human cultural liaison to the Varelian court. My role was minor, translation assistance, behavioral consultation, conflict mediation. Hers was monumental. Serelith was being groomed to rule after her mother's long reign ended. Somehow, over months of conversations, shared curiosity, and long nights discussing philosophy beneath artificial stars, we'd grown close. Too close, maybe. "You are aware," she said carefully, "that among my people, to speak of children is to speak of legacy." "Yes," I said. "And I know you didn't choose me. I didn't choose you either. This just happened." Silence stretched between us, heavy but not hostile. "Turn around," she said suddenly. I blinked. "What?" "Turn around," she repeated. Slowly. I obeyed, my stomach twisting. I heard the faint hum of energy as she moved behind me. A warmth brushed against my back, not touching, but close. "You believe," she said quietly behind me, "that I am worthy of being a mother." "Yes," I answered without hesitation. "And that I am worthy of choosing the father of my child." "Yes." "And that you," she continued, "are worthy of standing beside that choice." I hesitated only for a second. "I hope so." She stepped back into my view, her luminous skin glowing brighter than before. Then she said the words that changed everything. Then I must tell you the truth, human. My breath caught. Among the Varelian royal line, she said, conception does not occur by chance. It occurs only when both minds and bodies are aligned in absolute intent. I frowned slightly. You mean? I mean, she said, meeting my eyes, that for months now, my body has been responding to you. My mind reeled. Responding how? Her lips curved into the faintest smile. Preparing, she said. The room felt suddenly too small. You're saying, this isn't impossible, I whispered. No, she replied. It is rare. Dangerous. Politically volatile. Of course it is, I muttered. She almost laughed. You humans, she said softly, are uniquely reckless with your hearts. And you're not? I asked. She studied me for a long moment. I was not, she said. Until you. The days that followed were chaos. The Varelian court reacted with shock, disbelief, and quiet fear. A human consort was unprecedented. A hybrid heir. Unthinkable to some. Revolutionary to others. I was interrogated, examined, tested not for guilt, but for compatibility. Human biology fascinated them. Human psychology unsettled them. Through it all, Serelith never wavered. She stood before her council, spine straight, light blazing from her skin. He is not a mistake, she said. He is my choice. When they questioned her judgment, she answered with clarity. When they questioned her strength, she answered with resolve. When they questioned the child, she silenced them. This child, she declared, will carry the adaptability of humanity and the continuity of Virelia. If you fear that union, then you fear the future itself. I stood behind her that day, feeling very small and very human. Months later, beneath the radiant canopy of the royal gardens, she told me quietly that the alignment had completed. She was with child. I didn't speak. I couldn't. Emotion crushed the air from my lungs. She took my hands, warm, glowing, steady. You whispered a wish, she said. I answered it with truth. I laughed shakily. I didn't think anyone was listening. She leaned her forehead against mine, a Varelian gesture of bond. I was, she murmured. I always was. The galaxy would argue for years over what our child represented: symbol, bridge, risk, miracle. But on quiet nights, when Serelith rested beside me and the stars drifted past our window, none of that mattered. What mattered was this. A human whispered a hope into the silence. An alien princess heard it. And instead of turning away, she chose to build a future with him.